I'd rather be a mind flayer than have to watch you become one. You still get to live. Do it as you. If this is the end for me, let me be the motherfucker who saved the world.
Hey guys, it's DBD Gamer Girl here. Welcome back to my channel. So I've been thinking about this video for a while because there was a TikTok that I posted, I guess it was like 2 years ago now, but it was a very rare route of making Karlach a mind flayer to carry the nether stones. Because basically you get 4 options, I guess. Either the Emperor can carry the nether stones, you as Tav can become a mind flayer and carry the nether stones, Karlach can become a mind flayer and carry the nether stones, or Orpheus can do it. So those are the 4 options, and generally I personally go with the Emperor carrying the nether stones. I know that's like not the best, most moral route, but like I just find that the easiest solution, and I've always kind of had a soft spot for the Emperor, whether or not it makes any sense. Like, anyways, that's irrelevant to the point. But in one of my playthroughs, I decided to make Karlach a mind flayer and have her carry the stones, and I'd made a TikTok on it. And a lot of people had differing opinions on that. Like, some people thought it was like a happy ending for her, and other people was like, this is the saddest possible outcome that could have happened. So let me just share a clip on what exactly happens and what Karlach says when she first becomes a mind flayer, because the most significant part of this is that it silences her engine and she doesn't have the burning engine that's going to explode and kill her anymore. Like, when she becomes a mind flayer, this problem of hers just goes away, it gets resolved, and it's kind of like a magic cure for this, which is, I guess, the reason why some people think that it is a happy ending. I will just let you watch this clip first, and then I'll talk about it a little bit more.
She is transformed. Her body is no longer hers, but her eyes, her heart. She is still Karlach for now. Only there's a hunger in her eyes that wasn't there before.
You feel it, don't you? The hunger. Embrace it. Feed. I'm sure you will learn how to do it more gracefully with time. But you have done what is necessary.
This is wild. I'm myself, but more. It's like I'm beyond myself. I can sense things I never knew were there. And my engine, it's silent. No heat. No gears. Still there, but no longer threatening to explode. Soldier? Yes. Yes. My God. Is it possible? Shit. I'm gonna be alright. I get to be alive. I get to stay. As a hideous monster, sure. But one that can feel, think, live. But I'm still myself, and I know what our mission is. I'm glad I get to do the honors.
I'm glad for you, Karlach. It's hardly the life anyone dreams of, but, well, it's a life.
Oh my god, I can't with Shadowheart's little interjection there. That's actually the reason I'd post the TikTok in the first place, because she kind of killed Karlach's vibe with that, going, It's hardly the life anyone dreams of, but it's a life. Anyways, that aside, so basically Karlach is really excited because she feels like she can finally live her life now, and she gets to stay, and she doesn't really care if it's in this form, which is kind of interesting. But the problem with this is, at this point, I don't really think it's Karlach anymore. There have been many things that indicate that once the transformation happens and the tadpole basically consumes the host's soul is no longer there, and it's basically like the mind flayer is a clone of the host's old self and like old memories, but the soul has actually departed. I don't know like how much I actually really believe this or not, but there is one particular line of dialogue that I remember from Withers where after you do the Ketheric fight, he poses the question of if Illithids have souls or not, and this is how that conversation goes.
There are depths to this alliance yet unplumbed. Consider, mortal. Do Illithids possess souls? Thou shalt think about it now, and I shall give the answer. Mind flayers are soulless. Yet, the three amass an Illithid army void of apostolic souls that could imbue them with power. A flock without souls, yet to what end, mortal? This is the question thou must come to answer.
So he pretty clearly says here that mind flayers don't have souls, and at least they don't have apostolic souls that could give any type of power to the gods. So I think that's kind of interesting. I don't know if there's any particular reason he differentiates with apostolic souls, but generally here he just says that they are soulless. And he seems to see them in a very demeaning light. I think at the epilogue is when it becomes the most clear that this is the saddest ending for Karlach. Because you can just really see the shift in her personality and just how different of a person that she has become. And though she expresses like happiness and joy at her current state, it somehow just comes across as very hollow. So basically what I kind of see at the end is she's like a shell of a person who kind of embodies the same traits that the original Karlach had. Like she talks about, you know, her favorite food, and she talks about how she has a deep-seated empathy for people, which has still carried over into her current self. I'll show a couple of the clips right here where she mentions these things.
Do you remember how my favorite food used to be mutton chops? I'm now far more interested in, well, brains. I thought I was good at cracking skulls before. Now I've got it down to something of a science. Or maybe more of a religion. Maybe at first. But the person I used to be had a deep empathy that hasn't left me. Let me explain. I've made arrangements with a healer in the city. When a patient is beyond saving, but still able to speak for themselves, they're offered a choice. They can go as nature intends to take them, or when they're ready, when their goodbyes have been said, their affairs settled, and all that awaits them is pain, I relieve them. When I consume their brains, I am nourished by much more than the physical nutrition. Their memories, from birth to death, become part of me. I've lived hundreds of childhoods, first loves, marriages, feuds and friendships. I remember them all. And in this way, we all live on together. Thanks, soldier. It's good to see you looking so well. And now that we've connected again, don't be a stranger. Enjoy the night, my friend. I know I will.
So it's clear that she does have some of her old traits, I suppose, but just the way that she's speaking, the super calm manner, the lack of excitement is very, very different. And there is one dialogue that you can say where you basically say, this isn't kind of the life that I imagined for you. Something doesn't sit right with me. She does reiterate that she's very happy with the life that she has and she wouldn't trade it for anything.
Ah, soldier. How glad I am to see you again. I'd started to wonder if I ever would. Honestly, never better. My life is so rich now, so multifaceted. I've wanted to share it with you, but maybe I was scared. I've changed so much. But then again, so have you. It's strange, I know. I couldn't have imagined this life for myself in a million years. But I think I'm doing good in the world and staying fed along the way. What more could a Karlach want? It's been wonderful to see you again. Reminds me of old times around the campfire. We used to think becoming a mind flayer was a fate worse than death. I wouldn't trade my life, this life, for anything. Funny how things change, isn't it?
One more interesting thing about this dialogue is that she speaks about herself in third person. Like she says, what more could a Karlach want? Which seems so strange. Like that kind of disembodies her former self from this version of her even more. One of my favorite parts about Karlach in general before she became a mind flayer is how she wanted to live life on her own terms and she wanted to kind of go out on her own terms whenever the time came about. And even her sacrifice of choosing to become a mind flayer to carry the nether stones, like it was an act of courage to help out everybody else and knowing that her life was basically going to end anyways. I mean, she didn't really know what to expect when she became a mind flayer. She had no idea that it was going to silence her engine or change anything. She was just willing to make that sacrifice for everybody else because she was going to die anyways. But after this conversion happens and, you know, she's claiming that she's happy, I just take it with such a huge grain of salt. Like, it doesn't really seem like her anymore. It doesn't seem like the life that she would actually want for herself. She seems very disconnected from everyone, especially in the epilogue. You know, it's clear that you haven't seen her in a while and you haven't talked to her in a while. And it just seems like she's just completely changed. And her saying that she's happy with it, you know, it's just doesn't strike a chord with me really. So I feel like this is actually a very, very sad ending, even though she does not die in this scenario. I much prefer the ending where either Tav or Will or both go to Avernus with Karlach. And then in the epilogue, they added later some mention of there are some blueprints of her engine that could potentially, you know, help her figure out how to disable it and be able to live in the real world again. So I feel like that's a much, much happier ending with a much, much more hopeful connotation. I obviously don't like the ending where she actually just explodes and dies and never goes to Avernus, but even that feels a little bit more righteous in the sense of she's going out on her own terms. Whereas on this one, it just seems like she's just not herself. I don't even recognize who this mind flayer Illithid is, I don't think she's getting the life that she wanted, and now she didn't even get the death that she wanted. So it just, something feels very, very wrong and off-putting about this ending to me. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments on if you think that she has a soul or not at this point, if you think this is a good or bad ending for her. But in conclusion, my opinion is that this is probably actually the worst ending for her, truly. And I did this route once just to see what it was, because I've done that with pretty much every route at this point. I have a huge curiosity of how things turn out in different paths in this game, but this is a route that I will never repeat. One thing I still want to try is becoming a mind flayer myself. That is something that I have never done, especially with the fear of most of the companions breaking up with you when you become a mind flayer. I think except for Gale and potentially Astarion, I don't remember. But that's another path that I want to try sometime. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy my content, particularly me doing these paths that I hate to show you guys how it goes. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.